Happy Tuesday, everyone. Welcome back to the laboratory. Um, yeah, we're doing it again. So if you were here for the last 2 weeks where I worked on a Rust CLI and a Chrome extension, we got something else special for you again this week. But this week, extra special because I have a new coworker who's going to be joining me to help me out. So let's go ahead and bring them on. Welcome, Chris. Hey, Chris.
Hi, Aydrian. Thanks for having me here. Excited
Yeah.
to be here today.
So you have been at Tabnine all of what, 2-3 weeks?
Yep. We're going
Yeah.
on, I think about week 4 now. So fresh.
And we're like, well, it's time to live stream. So welcome to live streaming. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Aydrian said, I'm a product marketer here at Tabnine. I used to be a developer and a programmer in a past life, and then went through sort of the customer success route, and then found love in product marketing. But did a lot of work in Java and JavaScript, and it's well, what else? I'm currently residing here in the Pacific Northwest, but born on the East Coast. But give you a little more background. But in general, excited to be here today with Aydrian, and looking forward to what we're going to be building with you guys and learning along the way.
Yeah. So what we're going to do today came from Chris's kind of playing around with Tabnine and using it to learn things, and I thought it was pretty cool. So what we're going to do today is we are going to play with Three.js. Turns out it's being used on a lot of websites to make them interactive. You did a little bit of research about that, right? So who's using Three.js right now?
I did. So some big ones that stood out to me. Google Arts and Culture, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're using it for creating these sort of interactive 3D museum exhibits and galleries.
Okay.
Another one's NASA. They're using Three.js for 3D visualizations of space and scientific data. A personal favorite of mine, if folks haven't ever seen the Bruno Simon portfolio, it is what I think is one of the coolest uses of Three.js. It's sort of this interactive 3D portfolio that showcases sort of all these different unique use cases of for the library, right? For web interaction, right? So one of my favorites is when you go to his site, you start it launches a car, right? Like a sort of like a monster truck. And you use that to work around the website and go into his portfolio or go into his GitHub, and all of that sort. So it's really, really interesting. But then you have places like even IKEA. IKEA Place is this web tool that lets users place like 3D furniture models in their space, right? So it's neat. You still see a lot of folks using it, and a lot of bigger enterprises.
Yeah,
I consider
mean, people
Google
just
NASA.
people aren't happy with forms anymore. No, we gotta drive around your site. So we are not going to do anything as grandiose as that. What we want to do is kind of cover the basics, see how Tabnine can help us out with that. And so we are going to do. I feel like this is the tried and true method of how we get taught things in college, or at least how it was taught for me. So we're going to focus on making a game. I know that Chris kind of did like a dupe of the dinosaur game from Chrome. But we're going to play, I think we're going to play with making a Plinko board. So that'll give us the ability to like create all the different objects, put them on the site. I think it'd be cool to be able to have, to use the mouse to drop the ball in different places and kind of see where we can go from that. Yeah.
And for folks who might not remember the great Plinko game, right? It's where you're dropping a disc or a ball down a board with a bunch of pegs, and sort of that bounces off the peg and lands at a slot at the bottom, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's a good mix of luck and strategy. One of my favorites.
Yeah, I feel like if you're unfamiliar with Plinko, just like go to AWS reInvent. You'll see like lots of them at different booths with different flag. I feel like that's what it's been turned into. But I'm getting ready to go to Japan, and apparently like Plinko is huge over there. Like people love it. Is that
Really?
or I'm getting it mixed up with something else? I don't know. But yeah, let's get started. And today we're going to do something a little different. Instead of starting from scratch, we're going to start with an existing web application and just add it to it. So I have like my Remix demo. So I'm also introducing Chris to Remix, which is a framework for doing React applications similar to Next.js. But this is just kind of, it's easy for us to add a page and start kind of going at building this component. So let's go ahead and switch over and get started. So welcome to this wonderful blank website. I'm going to go ahead and here in my routes folder here, I'm just going to go ahead and create a new page. So I'm going to just create a new file and we're going to call it simply plinko.tsx. And so that's going to make a new page and we're going to need a default component here. Cool. So we're going to export Plinko and I'm going to hit save. And then we can just kind of see that, you know, it doesn't do a lot, but let's go up here /Plinko. Boom. We have a page. Plinko route. It's so fun. All right. I did my part. Do you want to make the game?
We can get started here. Let's see what we have.
So yeah, I guess. Oh man, I'm driving, so I can't just like turn it over to you and leave. So what we can do now is I like to start with a little bit of planning whenever I do things with Tabnine. So how do we want to kick this off? We want to add a Plinko board or
yeah. So we want to add a Plinko board. We want to make sure we're doing it in Three.js.
So I'm like, how do we start? Like, let's
well, the fascinating part of, let's say, Tabnine is that you can ask such a regular prompt that we're familiar with using everyday language, and it can interpret it well, right? So I'm sure we could add something on the lines of, I want to create a Plinko board in Three.js.
Well, let's see, a Plinko game as a component on this page that uses Three.js. Yeah. Let's I don't want to. So I know that like when we looked at this before, we like tried to specify the number of pegs. But like, let's see if we can make it responsive. See, make the board responsive, include a scoring system.
Oh, that's fascinating.
Yeah. Okay. Well. Okay. Let's see how far
let's see what happens. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Whoa. I'll help you create a Plinko game component using Three.js with a responsive board and a scoring system. We'll need to install some dependencies first, and then we'll create the Plinko game component. So let's install the necessary dependencies. So we're doing 3, which I guess is the package for Three.js, React 3 Fiber, React 3 Dre. Dre. Interesting. Okay. And then we'll update the plinko.tsx file with the Plinko game component. So yeah, here is the component for the board. Here is a function to add the disk. use frame, which looks like some kind of hook. Okay. And then it's going to return interesting mesh and all of this. You know what? I want to add one more thing before we do this. But I want to make, this website is set up for using Tailwind to style it. So let's make sure that we have it use that as well. See, the code creates a responsive Plinko game using Three.js with React 3 Fiber. Here's a breakdown of the components and their functionality. The Plinko board component creates the game board with pegs and handles the play disks, or the disk physics. The main Plinko component sets up the canvas and manages the game state, including the score. The board is responsive and will adapt to the size of its container. The scoring system adds points based on where the disk lands at the bottom of the board. Users can drop disks by clicking the drop disk button. To make this game fully functional, you'll need to add some CSS to ensure the game takes up the full viewport and the following styles. Okay, right. So this is where I just want to see if we could have it use Tailwind for the styling. Then update your Plinko file to import these styles. Okay. This system creates a responsive Plinko game with a scoring system. Gosh, I hope it didn't just like do everything in the first try.
So here's one quick question for you. I noticed that up top you have Claude, Sonnet, right? Is there a reason? I mean, I know, of course, different LLMs have different use cases, as we know, right? Is there a reason for you that you enjoy using Claude Sonnet here?
That is a good question, and it's usually something that I start off with in these videos. Is right now I'm using Claude 3.5 Sonnet. That seems to be my favorite as of late. It does really well. I found that it does really well with like React applications, which is what I'm used to doing. But it's done it's done really well with like all the different types of programming things I do. But if I can, oh no, and I can't do it right now because we're in the middle of a conversation. But whenever we're ready to switch, I'll show you the other ones that are available. But we have other options that you can use, such as GPT-4o. We've got Mistral, CodeStrol from Mistral. We've got our own Tabnine Protected, which is great if you work for a place that's like very worried about privacy and protection of your code. So one, you don't want your code leaked. Most of what I do is kind of open source. So like I just throw my code out there anyway. So I'm not as worried about it. But if you are doing stuff for work, you should probably be worried about it because who knows what people are doing once you send your code over to them to get responses, to get help. And so if you are worried about that, Tabnine Protected, best one. And then also protection. So we don't know what some of these models are built off of. We do know that the one that we provide is created only using permissively licensed open source code, right? So no proprietary data in, no proprietary data out. There are also some other models that can do that, but this is the one that I know for sure that's good. So it really depends on your situation. As you can see here, like I can't switch it right now because I'm in a conversation, but like you don't have to pick one model to do your entire project. So you can like switch, ask a question, and then switch back only whenever you feel it's relevant. Like you're not getting good responses from one model, try another.
That's one of my favorite parts, right? Is being able to rotate, right? Whether it's using Command R plus to fix code, or and my personal preference using Claude for generating or documentation or testing. And then, like you said, you have the option if privacy is important, if security is important, which it should be. Tabnine Protected V2 is awesome.
And there's also something to pay attention to down here is we are using the workspace context. So the chat has the ability to look into other relevant files within your workspace and use those to enrich the prompt to bring back better, more personalized responses. If you were somebody who wanted to like quickly switch to another one and you didn't want any of your code sent, you could flip that off. It's can't flip it off in the middle of a conversation, but that will keep more code from flowing. You might get more generic answers, but like this is really kind of behind the scenes what's helping you bring back like relative to your situation. Right now, we're kind of working on a blank canvas, but it does know that we're using Remix because it's bringing back things like that. We didn't specifically tell it to use Tailwind, but like it should know that we're using Tailwind. A lot of times, like if I have special component libraries that I'm using, like it knows that and it's able to pull those in. And so it's just something that makes it really nice. So let's continue on with this and say, can you change this to use Tailwind CSS? Certainly, I'll modify the Plinko game component to use Tailwind CSS instead of custom CSS. We'll remove the separate CSS file and use Tailwind classes directly in the JSX. So here's the updated Plinko file using Tailwind. Cool. So this code remains the same. So we can't just like copy and paste it all in, which is fine. But yeah, this version uses Tailwind, and here's a breakdown of the changes. I like this. If you are somebody who doesn't want it to be as verbose at the beginning, like you can say, only give me code or don't give me explanations. Like talk to it like a person. Like if, I feel like eventually this is how Chris is going to have to talk to me. He's like, I just need the answer. It's like,
as someone who's learning or learning more about Remix over the last few days, this has been incredibly helpful though, right? Yeah. As you're asking questions and it's to a degree helping cut corners and speed things up. At the same time, you learn the why, right? So it's not just giving you the answers, but it's telling you why you're doing what you're doing and really explaining it in its entirety. So for learning a new language or library, right, this is incredibly helpful.
All right, so let's go through and I'll start pulling this stuff in. Cool. So we are going to need these things. So I'm going to, open that up, and then I'm going to say run. Oh, and it actually ran it this time. The last time I hit run, it just pasted it in and didn't run it. Okay, cool. So we've added these packages, which is great. Actually, before I get too far, I'm going to create a branch for this. So let's do get checkout b, and we'll call this Plinko. So for Chris and other people out there, I decided instead of like running this on main, I'm branching this out. So any changes we have will work on a branch. And I do all of my get still like in the command line. So what I was saying is get, I'm going to check out a new branch. That's what that B is. And I'm giving it the name Plinko. So now you can see here that we're working on this project on the Plinko branch. And that way, if we like change too many things, it's easy to go back. I use this application for lots of different demos. So cool. So we've added that. We can update the Plinko.tsx. My dog is asleep over in the corner, and he's making noises because he's dreaming, which is very cute. So I'm going to go ahead and paste that in. Cool. This is where it's telling me to do the CSS stuff. So we're going to skip that. Skip importing the file. All right. So now the changes for Tailwind. So I believe all of this is the same. The Plinko board is the same. It says, And then, ooh, that's all the add disk stuff that's not completely happy. Or wait, maybe that's still, we're still in the... I'm like, wait, where are we? So the default function Plinko is here. Here's the Plinko board, which is this all part of the Plinko board function? Use effect, I think it is. Yeah, because here, okay. And so this is, we'll just copy this. And replace this current function. Oh no. It's like, stop. Oh, stop trying to be helpful. Cool. And we've got a lot of, oh wait. Oh, there, it's collapsed, that's why. So we got some red, which doesn't make me happy, but we'll find out what that is. That's just the joy of, oh, text is declared but never read. Okay. 3 is declared but never read. So this is implicitly the any type. Is, let's see, another declared but never read. So this is, I think this is yeah. So I think it's mostly, it does not like some of the TypeScript stuff. So it will probably run. It's probably fine. Yeah. So like here we are we're not doing so well with the types. Let's see. Yeah, so it's very upset about the types. It did not do so good about pulling in the TypeScript stuff. So let's go see if it will run. It will actually run. Will I need to restart the server? Oh, look at that.
Oh.
Ooh. Okay, let's see what happens. Like, how does it know what the score is? There's no like.
It doesn't stop.
Okay.
Stop disk.
Did it do anything?
Did you click it?
Oh.
Oh.
Okay.
Let the fun begin.
Let's see what we got here in the context lost. Okay, well, I mean, I gotta tell you, this doesn't look like the worst thing ever.
No, it's much better than the one that I created last night.
Okay. I don't even know if I need that window open. It's just in the way. Hold on, let me move that out of the way. Cool. So it does look nice. It does not work. Let's see, set pegs, new pegs. Viewport. I don't like that. That's so like the viewport part. That's probably what's doing the responsive piece, but it's actually not working.
Signed but never used.
Yeah. And then I guess we don't know what this is. So a lot of times what I like to do, and I'll go ahead and create a new conversation here. And while we're at it, here are all the different the models we can use. So Claude 3.5 Sonnet, GPT 4.0, CodeStroll, Command R+, Tab9 Protected, Tab9 plus Minstrel. But we're going to stick with Claude Sonnet, and here is where you can turn off the workspace if you feel the need. I don't. So let's do this. Man, we don't even. I'm gonna highlight this, and oh, what are you doing?
Well, I was highlighting it, and I was actually using the chat agent to help me explain a little bit more about what's, breaking down what's happening here
Yeah.
with the sea of red, right?
Right. So the sea of red, I think that's a lot of that is I'm gonna discard it, the change right now, so I can go in here. So we can all see the explanation. So I'm gonna say explain code. Cool. Okay, so the selected code defines the Plinko board component, which is responsible for rendering and managing the game board in a Plinko style game using React and Three.js. Game physics, re-rendering. So before we go too far down this road, I am gonna try one thing. Now that I've hidden it, let's stop that and restart it. Because we did add new dependencies. So, okay. And just see if if that did it. All right. Cool. So the Plinko board, does it have it has our add disk function, and there is a set disks function. Set disks. Okay, well, that's running set disks. Where is set disk defined? Is it, so we got set disks, add disks. Okay, set disks. So this is state. Okay. So we are initializing this state to an empty array. And it doesn't. That's part of the problem with the TypeScript. It doesn't know the type that's going to be in the array. Yeah. So we're going to add a disk, and so this is setting. So it's taking the previous, and it's returning spread of the previous plus the new one at this position with this velocity. Okay. And then previous disks. Oh wow, there's a lot going on here.
There is.
So the Plinko board takes on score. So this is a function, and because that's how we write functions. So I'm hoping that's right. So we are down here on our Plinko board. So this is where we're keeping track of the score. Handle score. Again, that's points. Okay, so this is 0, so that's a number. So I think this is implicitly any type, but I think what this is going to be is it's a number, and it's returning void. So I think we can just do points number. Okay, let's do this. Update this to resolve the type error. Points should be a number. Cool. So, oh yeah, you know what? I'm better. I'm better than I thought I was. I just didn't I just didn't put the parens in. So points number points. Okay, so it likes that. I think now it can infer because I told it what the initial points are. and it should be able to infer this because we originally set this to 0, which is a number. So it's going to assume that this is a number.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So handle add disk. So this is probably what is run whenever we click on the button. Cool. So let's do this. This is a fun thing that I learned watching Ricky Robinette at Cloudflare. I'm just going to highlight this and say add helpful console.log statements to track the behavior of the Plinko game.
That's good. Certainly.
Oh, it's doing like the whole thing. Then we can at least like see what's going on.
Yeah.
Still figuring it out. Yeah, it's a lot. I think usually what I do is I walk through and I talk about like the things that I want to add. And either like at the end or at some point I'm like, let's refactor this and like pull things out into their own files. So we could possibly store the Plinko board and that functionality in its own component file and import that in, just so like we don't have one page with like lines and lines of code.
Clean it up a little bit.
Okay. So let's just go ahead, and I think this is basically everything. So I'm gonna do Command All, and then just insert. Okay. It's still unhappy about some of this stuff here, but ooh, look. Plinko component mounted, Plinko component unmounted, mounted. Pegs initialized. There's 68 pegs. Mounted, unmounted, initialized. Okay, that's probably from all of the hot reloading. So if I click drop disk, what happens? Attempting to add disk. Add disk event dispatched. But we did not see that
disk dropped.
Yeah, okay. Man, we thought this was like new pegs. Yeah, let's see. What does a peg look like? Because we got pegs, set pegs. Let's do this. Plinko board. Okay. Create a type for pegs. Oh, peg. No, go back. Pegs and disk objects. Okay. So here's what we've done. We defined a peg type that represents the structure of a peg object. It has a position property, which is a tuple of 3 numbers. We've defined a disk type that represents the structure of a disk object. It has a position property and a velocity property, both of which are tuples. We've updated the state declarations to use these new types. We've typed the on-score prop in the Plinko board. Oh, well, it's just fixing all of our type problems now. So let's go ahead and put that stuff in. I'm going to kind of do it. Ooh, let's see. Show diff. Okay, not too bad. So like here are all of the changes for the state. I'm going to change that back. Let's go back to show all. All right. So first, let's go ahead and pull these in. So we've got a peg type and a disk type. And they're mad because they're not used. And then we are typing the onScore function, which is lovely. Okay, so this stuff. Cool. Yeah, so the score, it takes a score with a number, returns a void. And then for these use states, we want to use these versions that type the things. All right. Oh, it says we're down to 8 instead of 9 plus, so that's good. So what's this? Set action state. What?
So one other thing to consider is that do we have any event listeners within here? I know that's something that I've ran into issues before, right? If there isn't, like the handle disk, add disk function is dispatching event, but there isn't a corresponding event listener set up yet in the Plinko board component.
Yeah, because we see here that add disk is declared, but it's never read. So let's take a look at, where is that button?
Oh, it is.
So we got the board component. Oh, so here's the event equals new event add disk. Oh, so this is the handle add disk. Okay. Which is, so this is our button, right?
Yes.
Right. And so we got an on-click, which goes to handle add disk, which is here. So attempting to add disk, we are getting, we're using document selector canvas. So if board, okay, so we are getting to here. That's really interesting. So board.dispatch event. So like it sounds like the event is being dispatched. Or I don't know why we have this use effect. I'm gonna take this out. This is not a helpful thing. It's just showing us whenever the Plinko component is mounted and unmounted. So where are we using? Because here's the canvas. So the Plinko board is inside the canvas. And we're passing it the handle score method. Okay, and this is our drop disk button. And I feel like, okay, so let's take a look at the Plinko board. So it might look like it's working, but not actually doing what we thought. So we've got pegs. So this is, I think this is well typed now. Board ref. I'm not so sure about that. Okay, so we're doing a use effect and we're setting new pegs. New pegs. So this is any right now. but this should probably be typed because it's not grabbing it. Right, so now new pegs, so it's an array of pegs. Okay, so that made that happy.
Okay.
So this is just simply setting up the board. So whenever this component mounts, it's using the use effect to build out the board. And so it's just building one that has a certain amount of rows and a certain number of pegs per row. Okay. And then we got add disk, which is not used. So that could be a problem. And okay, so this is set disks. Okay.
I don't know why it's so hard to try and find some of these. It's like trying to find a needle in a haystack sometimes, trying to look for some of these. Where did you see add disks? Oh, add disk constant. Okay, 42.
Yeah, so this is just a function that will. So it looks like we're randomly placing a disk right now, and then this is set disk. So this is using it as a function that should get all of the disks that are currently in the state.
Yeah.
It's not assignable to the parameter type. So does it think disks are wrong? So this would be an array of disks, position with a velocity.
Yeah.
I don't even know where this board ref is being used. Update position. Set state action disk. Okay, so where did I see that before? So that's not.
Where is our use effect? Okay, this is.
Yeah, here's all the fun collision stuff.
Let's see here. So. Let's see something.
So we're returning. Did you find something, or?
I sort of kind of. I'm gonna try something here.
The fact that it's not using viewpoint port is interesting.
Okay, why is this? What's the issue here? Cannot be called inside a callback.
Oh, whoa! Did you move that out or?
Oh no, this was something I just threw in for a quick second.
Oh yeah. Can't do a use effect and a use effect.
No. Right after the existing.
Like this is not even being called yet, so unless. So this is a JS element. And we've got a board ref. Like where else is... Okay. I don't really know what that board ref is doing. This is all, I think this is all just the same. Okay, so I'm going to highlight this because this is all in that same use frame. And I'm going to say in caps. How do I resolve this error? The error you're encountering is due to the possibility of returning null in your map function and then filtering out those null values. TypeScript is having trouble inferring that the final result will always have be an array of disk objects. To resolve this, we need to explicitly type the result and handle the null case. Okay. So let's insert that. Okay, so that made that happy.
Sweet.
Bringing it down.
It's no longer a sea of red.
Yeah, so the key changes are we modified the filter method to use a predicate. This tells TypeScript that filter method is removing all null values and resulting array will only contain disk objects. We didn't need to change the map function because TypeScript can infer. Cool. Yeah, so it did. Okay, cool. So now let's see if we can fix this. How do I resolve this error? This is my favorite. It is due to a type mismatch between disk type definition and the object you're creating in the setDisk function. The disk type expects position and velocity to be tuples of exactly 3 numbers, but the TypeScript compiler is inferring them as arrays of numbers with unspecified length. To resolve this error, you need to explicitly type the new disk object to match the disk. So what do we got? So we've split this out into new disks so we can type it. Okay, I see what it is. It's this here. Let's see if what the show diff does. Yeah. So what we're doing is we're taking this line here and we're splitting it in 2 pieces so we can explicitly type the new disk. Okay. So I'm just going to copy it out because I don't think what I have highlighted will. Oops. This one line for these 2 lines. All right. So now we've just got issues with things not being used. Which here, like, we don't care about some of these from the velocity. And I think we can just do this underscore, right?
So is that disk? I know we've defined it, but do we need to call that within here?
I'm trying to figure that out, because we have down here. This is the other thing that I don't really understand what's happening, because we inside of this. So this is the Plinko page. We are doing this. We're getting the board component by accessing the query selector for Canvas. And so here they're creating a new event. So I don't know what's kind of going on here. If this is somehow calling that through like some kind of Canvas voodoo, if you will.
Could we explain that little section right there?
Let's. Okay, what was I working on before? Oh, okay. So these are fine. This is just, they're declared, but they're not used. These can probably be, but because like we're destructuring this, like we kind of need something here. And there's like a special what says VX is this, but follow unused vars must match ignored. So hold on, let's just do this real quick. It's not an error, it's a warning. Yeah, that's what it is. I've seen this before. So we're actually just like not naming it. So this is like nothing. Add disk, we'll work on that. Viewport, don't know why that's in there and not being used. So yeah, I think we're ready to figure out this part. So let's take a look at this function. This is the handle add disk function, which is the on click for this button. So let's and explain code. Okay. The selected code defines a function called, which is responsible for adding a new disk Plinko board. Let's break it down. The function starts by logging a message. Cool. It then tries to find the canvas element in the DOM using query selector. This assumes that there's only one canvas element on the document. See, I don't like that, which is likely where the Plinko game is being rendered. The canvas element is found. It creates a new custom event called add disk using new event add disk. It then dispatches the event on the canvas element using board.dispatch event. Finally, it logs. Okay, so if the canvas is not okay. There's a potential issue with this implementation. The code is creating and dispatching a custom event, but there's no listener set up. Oh, you mentioned this earlier, for this event in the Plinko board component. The add disk function is never actually called. A more direct approach would be to lift the add disk function up to the parent component and pass down as a prop to the Plinko board, then called directly in the handle add disk function. This would ensure that a new disk is actually added to the game when the button is called. Yeah. So let's just say, how do we lift the add disk function function to the parent component? Sure. All right. First, let's remove the add function. Let's move the add function to the parent component, Plinko. Okay. Yeah, this kind of makes more sense to me. This seems a little okay, so let's just take this. And then we'll insert that. And then now we need to modify the Plinko board component to accept disks and set disks as props. And this is going to do show the rest of the code thing. So we'll do this in pieces. Okay, so the Plinko board, right now it will also do disks and set disks. And we will add this. And hopefully Prettier will make this better. I think this is going to be mad about duplicate identifier disks. Oh, okay. We're not done yet. So we got the viewport that we don't use, pegs, and then we don't need this anymore because that is being stored somewhere else. I think that's probably the right thing to do. You have like the Plinko board with the reference of what disks that are in it. Okay.
I would agree.
The rest of the component code. And then we can remove add disk here. And then the rest of the component code. Cool. And finally, update the button click handler in the Plinko component. Okay, to disambiguate this, I'm going to say Plinko page because this is a page component. And so now, find our button. Find our button. Oh. I shouldn't have like placed that in, like just copied and pasted over it because it didn't shoot. It's like, how do I get that back? Man, hate it when that happens.
Not about it.
Okay, wait. I'm gonna hit save, and then we can come over here. Plinko. Oh no, why isn't? Oh, because we haven't tracked it. So what? So we don't have any history. Okay, cool. This is cool. So let's hit Control Z a couple times. Unfortunately, all right. Well, now we'll be a little more mindful whenever we. Okay, so let's. All right, back to step one. Let's move the add disk function to the parent. So what do we got here? So we have handle score. We're looking in the Plinko. Set score. We need disks. All right. And then we got handle score, which stays the same. And now we've got add disk. Right. And now our new handle add disk looks like this. Cool. And then all that stays the same, with the exception of we are now passing in more stuff to the Plinko board.
Nice.
Some of this stuff I don't know what it does. Orbit controls. All right. And so now we need to update the Plinko board. Cool. And so the Plinko board I'm just going to do all of this. And then this will take care of this. And
so for our 2 cents here, orbit controls is a feature provided by the Dry library. So it's an extension of React 3 Fiber. Helps to add some interactive camera controls to the 3D scene, right? So we might not see a lot of them in this specific game.
Because we're doing a 2D game.
Yeah, but it allows users to interact more with a 3D scene. There's you can adjust your view hypothetically of the Plinko board. Let's say you want to look at it from the bottom, or you want to be looking down upon it. You could. Yeah, it's neat. Better user experience.
Okay, so for right now, I'm going to comment that out as I hunt down these. It says text is never used. Use 3 is never used. We're going to delete these. Now we have a happy green thing. And I'm going to just do a hard refresh. So we got 68 pigs. That's great. Drop disk. Oh, that was super fast.
It's got to mess with the velocity a little bit, but that was awesome. There we go. Looks like we do have that orbit controls coming into play there.
And it's got score of 6. That was 7. Okay, let's do this. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of that so we have more space. How does it know what the score is? Okay, so let's do this.
There's not a shot that it logged the other attempts, and it's kept like an ongoing tally of how many times we've clicked the button. Oh, okay, maybe it's just random.
Well,
functionality is there.
Yeah.
The math isn't mathing now.
Let's see. Update the board to show the point values. At the bottom. Let's see what that does. So we'll add a row of text elements to display the scores. Here's how you can modify the Plinko board component to include this. So now we need text back. Cool. Previous code, Plinko board. Here's add labels. Okay, let's see. Oh, it doesn't have a diff. So documents.map. Oh, wait, where is this? Return. Okay. Disks. Array.from length 9. Let's just try putting that in. Was that enough? Was that all we needed to do? Whoa, they're down there.
Okay.
I think the responsiveness is not doing so well. Like,
whoa. Okay.
Whoa. Yeah.
That's pretty groovy. Can we like reduce? Let me see something here.
I was like, what do we ask now? Oh my god.
How to reduce the speed, so gravity or velocity of the disk.
What's for, just so we can see, the canvas, the Plinko board, right? Because the Plinko board ends up being, no, are we even? Plinko board ends up being this group. Okay, how about this? So you add a black border to the Plinko board.
I also changed the gravity a little bit, so it's slightly slower. It might be too slow. It's 50% of the speed of what we had it as.
What is, oh my goodness, what is all this? Okay, in this modification, we've added a new group element to that contains 4 mesh elements representing one side of the border.
Oh boy.
I was like, because we're inside the canvas. Previous board, add left border. Okay, so I'm going to just copy the return. Okay, and should be this that we are replacing. Oh my gosh.
Oh, it's
so the board is it's too big for one.
Could you humor me and drop a disk real quick? Okay, still incredibly fast.
I don't know what world we're on, but so there's this space. Okay, so let's see. So yeah, it's like this position. So like this is not like the board is not being like kind of responsive at all. You set the number of pegs. Like they're hard set. So it's this group board ref object. So maybe one thing is we need to like should we try to make the board like 2-dimensional? Like, do you think it's being kind of nuts because of the third dimension?
The third dimension aspect of it. I think that's having an effect. I think that there's let me see here. Our board's dimensions are hard coded.
What if we did the I was like, what? How do we make the ball not pass through the borders of the Plinko board? I feel like that's part of it. To prevent the disks balls from passing through the board, we need to implement collision detection response with the borders. We can modify the use frame function in the Plinko board component to check for collisions within the borders and adjust the disk position and velocity accordingly. So here's the updated code. Lots of code. So we need to find the use frame function. So from 49 and Now I can just hit the insert. Okay. So now I'm just going to reset. Drop disk.
It's getting better.
I don't think it worked. It I feel like it bounced off the side, but not the bottom. Mm-hmm. Oh, we're stuck.
Oh. That's funny.
Oh. Oh no.
What is happening?
Okay,
that's funny.
We check for collisions. We reverse the velocity, the vertical velocity, and reduce it. Oh, they're removing the disk. How do we keep the disk? I think it can use the context here. To keep the disk from getting stuck or behaving erratically, we can make a few improvements to the collision detection response. Here's an updated version of the useFrame function that should help. Okay. So we still got the useFrame highlighted. My goodness. It's got lovely documentation.
So, I know.
Oh my gosh, it's going up.
Oh, geez.
Let's refresh. My gosh.
Okay. Got some improvements.
All right. Okay. And then the score. This is. Oh,
so funny.
This is not the way I thought this was all going to be going. Okay. Now the X and Y. Let's see. Here are key changes for the improvements. We now update the X and Y positions directly within the collision checks, ensuring the disk is immediately moved to a valid position after a collision. For peg collisions, we calculate a new velocity based on the angle of collision and the current speed. This should give a more realistic bouncing behavior. After peg collision, we move the disk slightly outside the collision radius to prevent it from getting stuck inside a peg. We've added a minimum velocity check. If the velocity in either direction becomes too small, we set it to a minimum value. This helps prevent the disk from getting stuck or moving too slowly. We update the position using the new X and Y values at the end after all collision checks and adjustments have been made. These changes should help the disk keep the disk moving more consistently and prevent it from getting stuck on pegs. The disk should now bounce off pegs more realistically and continue moving down the board.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my, I feel like gravity, once it hits that first one, it okay, gravity.
Adrian, I'm going to run off camera for one quick second.
Sure.
And I want to be right back.
How do we keep the disks from being removed from the board when they reach the bottom? So to keep the disk from being removed when they reach the bottom, we need to modify the collision detection for the bottom border. We'll make it bounce off the border. We don't want it to bounce. make the disk stop at the bottom.
Okay.
Certainly.
I always love the positivity with the agent. There's never a sense of doubt.
Oh no. Okay, it's getting hard to scroll. So at the beginning of the function, we'll check if the disk is already at the bottom. If so, we return it unchanged, preventing any further movement. In the bottom border collision check, instead of bouncing, you know what? I think what this is we're not actually using a physics engine.
Okay, so that's the other point. We haven't done Matter, we haven't done Cannon. So maybe there's a use for us, or maybe we should implement Cannon or something similar. Or is that going to overcomplicate?
Let's see this. Can we make this more realistic by adding a physics engine? Oh, it says like Matter.js.
So if I remember correctly, you said you previously have used Matter.js. That's the physics engine that you've gravitated towards. Yeah.
It's just sure. Matter.js. Certainly, integrating a physics engine like Matter.js can significantly improve the realism of your Plinko game. However, since we're using React 3 Fiber, which is based on Three.js, it would be more appropriate to use a physics engine that integrates with Three.js. A popular choice would be Cannon.js.
Cannon. That's funny.
Sure. And it answered the question. So I think that's a good concept, like to kind of bring forward, I don't know, spotlight, talk about. So you just said that I have previously used Matter.js. And so I was like, maybe I should use that, right? And so we just asked it. And it just came back and said, nope. And it gave you a good reason why you should use the thing that you were using. So let's do that. So first, let's install the necessary packages. Let me pull back up my command prompt. We're going to say run. Now let's modify the Plinko board component to use the physics engine. All right. You know what? This might be a lot better. So what do we need this. So after React there, which we're not using any of it right now. That's fine. Use a 3. Okay. Keep your existing type definitions. Can do. Peg. Const peg equals. So this is so we're now using spheres and planes and stuff. So we are now constructing pegs and disks as geometric pieces. So here we go. Peg, disk. Maybe we should have asked this like a while ago. Okay, peg, disk. I don't know why the ref is upset. I think it's because it's missing the following properties. Okay, we'll look at that these TypeScript issues in a minute. So the Plinko board. We got onscore disks, set disks. That's all fine. They're just like, forget this viewer thing now. Set pegs. And we're no longer using the board ref. It says to leave the use effect alone. Cool. We're going to create walls. Okay. So are we not using the frame?
The border anymore?
So we're not using this useFrame function anymore. That's what was kind of weird to me, is we're just all of this stuff. Score plane, walls. Okay. Oh, darn it. I meant to hit shift and I hit caps locks. I'm really good at using keyboard. All right. And so we'll create our walls. The bottom plane for scoring. Copy that in. And then we're going to return physics. So this whole return function here. Cool. We're going to replace the return function that we have. Did I?
There we go.
Uh-oh. I went too far. I went past. Okay, so physics is the end. That. No. All right. So we got that, and then Plinko, we're just changing the return. Right? Yeah, we're just changing what's being returned. Copy. Damn it. Okay. Okay, so this new implementation uses the React 3 Cannon physics engine to handle collisions and movement. So the reason we were getting these weird bouncing things is because we were trying to do the physics by hand. The main changes are we wrap the entire scene in a physics component. We've created separate peg and disk components that use the useSphere hook to create physical bodies. We've added wall components using the usePlane hook to create the borders. We've added a score plane. We've added score plane components to detect when a disk reaches the bottom and triggers scoring. The physics engine will now handle all the collision detection and movement, making the game more realistic. You may need to adjust some parameters like the mass of the disks or the restitution of the collisions to get the exact behavior you want. Remember to update your add disk function in the main Plinko component to only set the initial position of the disk, as the physics engine will handle the movement. Okay, so add disk here. Well, that's easier. Why are you upset now? No. Okay. That's okay. I think it was one of the last things that I did. There we go. So we're not doing all of the return. Wait. Yeah, keep your existing JS X. So it's basically, okay, so this div grow here. Okay, and then now we'll go and change the add disk. Okay, cool. Now, I think these are all just... Is this right? I feel like there's things missing. So it says for use effect, it says keep it, disks, React, that dispatch, React, the disk is declared, but it's never read. So we got pegs. Actually, I don't know if this is actually if this is needed. Like, is disks even used?
That's a good question.
I think we can take these out because this, like, all this is doing is now is setting up the board, which I like that better. So this is like, it's now a board of these pigs are now should be pig objects. I don't know if this is. Yeah, because this should be creating. Because it needs to be creating pigs.
Yeah.
Type position. Yeah, so I don't think this is all correct. I don't think we need these because now that we actually have a peg element.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna take these out. See, I don't think we need this use ref here because we're gonna get the ref from here. We don't seem to be using this. I'm gonna take that out. So what do we got here? How do we resolve this error?
Start trying to.
We need to properly type the ref returned by useSphere. Okay. First, import the types from React 3 Fiverr, then we'll explicitly type the ref returned by useSphere. Ref useSphere ref object mesh.
Oh man.
Wait, what? Wait. Oh, it's up here. Okay. And that's from React. That is from 3. So what's going on here? So ref is equal to useSphere ref object mesh. Ref equal ref. What? Let's break down the changes. Okay, we added 2 new imports. We modified the sphere to explicitly call type, to explicitly type the ref. These changes tell TypeScript that the ref returned by uSphere is specifically a ref mesh, which is compatible with the ref prop of the mesh component.
Man,
Why are you not happy?
let's see something here.
Does not satisfy.
Just want to test something out real quick.
Like it should return that. Like, do we just not have material is missing?
Mismatch in the type of ref being passed to the mesh component. And just the type assertion for the use sphere hook. It was part of the fun, right?
Oh yeah. I think that's part of the madness that is TypeScript. Like, without fixing these TypeScript issues, it should work. It just is probably not going to be happy. Like, the squigglies are not going to be happy. So what do we got? Let's take this, back out these things. So type issue, Plinko board. I don't think it needs these two things.
Set disks.
And then, yeah, we don't need that. So peg. Yeah, so this now becomes type of peg. Okay, and so what we're doing now is we are not pushing a new peg. So it should be peg position. So peg we're pushing a peg with that position. Is it new peg? No. Are you running explain or a fix?
Yeah, I'm looking for it.
Goodness. We need to change how we're adding the peg components to the new pegs array. This error is occurring because we're trying to push the result of calling peg component, which returns a reject element, onto an array that expects a function.
Oh.
The change wraps the oh my gosh. Okay, so so yeah, so pegs should be yeah, so pegs need to be not type of peg. Wait, what does peg return? Returns a mesh, which is a JSX object. Hold on. Let's do this. Update this to create an array of peg objects. Try that.
Let's see.
So we got new pegs. Okay. And then set pegs, new pegs. So in the updated version, we changed the type of new pegs on the array with a position number. This matches the expected prop type for peg component. Instead of calling peg we're now just pushing an object. The rest of the logic for calculating positions remains the same. This change allows us to create an array of peg positions without instantiating the peg components directly in the user head. Yeah. Oh, nice. The pegs will be rendered later. I think this is what we need.
Sweet.
Okay. So I'm just going to insert that. Yeah. So what we're doing is in this use effect, when it's setting up the board, we're calculating the positions of the pegs based on this. So like these could actually be passed in. And so now set new pegs. We got pegs initialized. And so what are you doing, bud? Where are those used? So set pegs. So we got pegs. Was this something else I was supposed to fix?
Let's see.
Well, maybe. Okay, so pegs.map. So here's the board. We got this. So we're creating the wall. We're creating the score plane. Here we go. So pegs.map, peg.position, peg. No, it's not happy. You'll need to update the rendering of these pegs in your component to use the new structure, for example.
Interesting. Oh. Oh boy. It's never as easy as one
I know.
seemingly thinks it to be, right? I would have thought the Google Chrome dinosaur runner would have taken the cake for the more challenging of the two.
I know. I'm almost like should we start with a prompt that includes the physics engine? Because what we did is we created something and then now we're trying to go back and change it, and it's just not making it happy. Like I understand what's like going on, because now we have like this isn't so much a these are JSX things. Move it far. And then so this is a JSX thing. So this is the board, which what we need to do is create the board. So this runs whenever the board mounts. So it's calculating the board, which Doesn't make a lot of sense here because these are hard coded, so it's going to be doing the same calculations each time. But if like we were able to put in, let's just.
Do we need to throw, not to sidetrack, do we need to define disks within this Plinko board component?
I don't
I guess
think so.
Can we pass disks as like a prop to the component?
I'm not entirely sure.
Fair enough.
Because we got wall. Let's see. Walls. Do we have wall? Wall.
Mm-hmm.
We had like a create wall function. Oh no, that just says create walls. So create walls. So this is a component that it's defining. Okay. So we got position, score plane, sure. Physics. So the Plinko board, because I don't, like, I'm pretty sure, like, yeah. Hold on. Let's kill this and rerun it. Just because we added new packages, but I don't think it's gonna. So yeah, so import use frame use 3 from 3 fiber. Cannot use import statement outside of a module. Well, that's lovely.
Where was that?
This is. I'm worried about the blog post we can make out of this. Okay. Okay, so let's do a new conversation.
I was gonna say, do you want to try creating another? I was saying, what do we know? Let's not 86 this one, but let's do another one.
Default Plinko 2 page.
So this time with the prompts, what we'll want to include everything we can in the beginning. We want it to have a physics engine like Cannon.js.
Create a Plinko game using Three.js and React.js. Use Cannon.js for physics. Style using Tailwind CSS.
Let's. Do we want to mention the frame, scoreboard?
Show a scoreboard at the top. Add functionality to drop a disk.
It sounds nice.
Oh, I like that. Okay. Let's just see what it does now.
Prompt.
And hopefully it won't use like the other pages. Okay, certainly I'll create a Plinko game that uses Three.js, React.js, Cannon style with Tailwind CSS. I'll implement the game logic, scoring system, and the ability to drop disk. Here's the implementation. Okay, canvas, physics, peg. So peg, we give it a permission. This looks familiar. That looks familiar. Plinko board. Okay, use effect. Set pegs, new pegs. Wall, score plane. This isn't doing like the same thing. Is that a problem because I had that open? Okay, let's just see what happens.
Give it a whirl.
So Yeah, we've got some issues because of TypeScript. I'm going to ignore those for right now. It's not using set disks, which is interesting. Another ref. Okay. So Plinko 2. So we got a server error here. Cannot import statement outside of a module. So let's grab this and say how, oh, not there. How do we resolve the following error? The error you're encountering suggests that there's a mismatch between the module system being used by your project and the one expected by the React 3 Cannon package. This error typically occurs when trying to use ES modules in a common JS environment. I think we're using modules. To resolve this issue, you can try the following steps. First, ensure that you're using modules. Module.
Modules. A lot of modules.
Back to this. Oh, I got to put that ticket in. It doesn't maintain scroll position whenever you switch back and forth over here. Cool. You're using TypeScript. Make sure your TS config is configured for ES modules. So module resolution node. I mean, all this stuff has been working. So TypeScript. Yes, next. What was it? The other thing that I wanted me to check.
Oh, was it that? Yeah, it's beautiful.
Module resolution.
No, module resolution bundler.
Bundler.
There we go.
Which is probably, this is the recommended setting for TypeScript 5.0 for applications use a bundler. If you're using Vite, which is common in Remix applications, you might need to update your Vite. This might be more what it is. Properly handle this package. Add the following to your config. ES build import. What? So I think this is what we need. Optimize depths. Where did that go in there? It's just at the top. So what? Not find name, optimize depths. Oh, because it's not a plugin. My bad. O comes a 4P. All right. I think this is an instance that I need to restart it because we made a change to Vite.
Potato, potato. Tomato, tomato. All right.
Did not like it. This is fine. Let's ensure that you're using a Node version that fully supports ES modules. Yeah. If you're still encountering issues, you might need to clear your Node modules and run npm install again. If the problem is this, it might be worth checking if there are any compatibility issues between. Okay, well.
Let me look into the compatibility stuff while you handle the others.
Let's see, RM, RF, node modules. Goodbye. Well, we're about to hit 2 hours, and we have very little to show for it. This very much felt like working on a project in college, like, at the last minute.
Yeah, no, it's fun though. I think that's half the battle, right? Rarely have I ever written anything first time and have it worked 100% according to plan. Right?
Yeah.
I was laughing. This is sort of like the age-old, the ongoing joke, right? Where you fix one bug and then like 10 more appear, and then you fix another one, and
yeah,
boatload more appear. They just don't stop it. That's part of the battle.
I think the thing, oh wait, what? Deprecated due to Three.js version incompatibility. Use 0.80 instead. Oh, well, that's okay. That I don't think that's actually our issue, but yeah. But first, we should have noticed that there was no physics engine. We knew better than that. npm run dev. Okay. There must be something that React 3 Fiber does not like.
It was weird because oh, you know what? We didn't. So when we had it originally working, but it was bouncing all over the walls, it wasn't hooked up to React Fiber, huh?
I think it was. Well,
or no, it wasn't hooked up to Cannon. Excuse me, Cannon.js. So we didn't hook up that physics engine. Oddly, yeah.
I mean, like my limited work in playing with physics engines, it like this all makes sense, right? So we have these components, we have pegs, we have disks, and we are using like geometric objects. I love that this one takes args. Sure. So we're creating these like mesh objects that have, velocity, dimensions, things like that, and we're putting them on, and so that way, like it handles all the collision detection, which is great.
And it looks like there are I am not getting to the specifics, right? But there are some compatibility issues sometimes between Three.js and React 3 Fiber. Yeah, there's issues with methods and properties not behaving as expected sometimes.
What is React 3 Fiber used for? Popular React renderer for Three.js, a powerful 3D graphics library for the web. It's used to create, manage 3D scenes and objects within a React application. Okay.
In theory, it feels like the main stuff I'm seeing is like more like performance compatibility issues, but you would think this would work. And Matter won't work because Matter is not going to work well with Three.js.
Oh, with Three.js, yeah. I think Matter just has like all of it built in, maybe. But also, I think Matter is 2D.
Yeah. Let's see.
Because we're grabbing the canvas from here. Okay, new conversation. Optimized depths, we're just including that. Let me see. How do I resolve this error? The error is occurring because of the type of ref from usePlan is not exactly matching up. Three elements. Okay. Then update the wall component to use the correct type for ref. Size, position, ref. Three elements ref mesh. This is giving me a different thing. Wait. Oh, it just doesn't like that now. The mesh props does not satisfy this constraint.
Yeah, is it saying anything about usePlan there? That's what I'm reading here, is that we might have some issues with the usePlan hook.
With the what?
The usePlan hook, it's not compatible with the expected object 3D type. Okay, this is like saying due to a mismatch between the versions of React. Okay, so maybe it says there's, so some of the reason why we're having issues here, errors, is there's it's due to a mismatch between the versions of Cannon and Fiber. Or there's incomplete type definitions. Okay.
So the problem is one of 5 things. Yeah. Great.
Oh man, this is fun. All right.
Where do we go from here?
That's a good question. I was like, do we need physics?
I mean, the physics engine is what makes the collision detection easy.
Easier than...
Okay. So it's possible that it's not so much what the AI is telling us, but the versions that we have. So what do we got? So this says, oh wait, vulnerabilities. Oh wait, where's my? So there was that message. It's clean. I was like, where did I do all that work? Was it in a different tab? Cannot use this outside of a module. So I wonder if React 3 Cannon is is it a module type? So error evaluating SSR module virtual blah 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 failed to import React 3 Cannon. Let me let's back out that change they made here. Aren't we running right now? Okay. So we've got whatever this is deprecated.
This is interesting.
So group is it's 3 elements that group. React 3, mesh.
I say oddly enough, I don't see Cannon in our package.json.
It's because I think we're using the version that's like at React 3 -Cannon. Or did I forget to add it? So dependencies at React 3 fiber. Yeah, at React 3
Cannon.
It's using 660.
Okay. Which line is that? 660.
Set disk is never used, so that's also fun. Like, I don't think there is a... Is there a button? There's a button. Button, add disk. Add disk. Set disks. Wait, why are you think? Oh, we're not... Do we pass disks somewhere? Yeah, like there's no add disk functionality in Plinko too. Okay, hold on.
Back to the original.
Let's see what the original says here. Well, this one I think is like a weird mix. So we got the Plinko board. So like this one is also, I shut it down. It's like, I really don't want this to be something where I like prepare something ahead of time, but man, I kind of want to make sure I end up with something that works.
I know.
Yeah. Must be something going on with React 3 fiber. Use frame. I don't think we need to. I don't think we need that because that's something that like it handles. Like we're dealing with like components. Yeah. Well, we have definitely come to the end of our time. This was fun.
I felt like we learned a lot. Like we said earlier, it's it's very rarely does this kind of I'm not saying this stuff in particular, but
yeah,
software engineering as a whole. I mean, half the nature is debugging, problem solving, figuring things out. The agents made it easier, right? But we're still running into some issues here.
Yeah. Well, we might have a stand-in post for this one. But cool. Yeah. So okay, all right. We're gonna call it. Sadly, the Plinko board did not work. I am very interested to see if this is something that we can get working. Not from like an AI perspective, but just I will not be defeated by this library. Thank you for those who have been watching. Not sure how a blog post is going to come out of this one, but I will be back next week with something else. Maybe it will work. We'll find out. Let me look at the calendar here, because I am getting ready to go to Japan. But I will be here. The next one is on the 8th. Also, see, the 8th, the 15th, the 22nd, and the 22nd will be my last one for a couple weeks while I'm in Japan, and then I'll pick this back up while I'm in Japan. So I will be coming back at you in 1 week with something new. And stay tuned, because the blog posts for these are going to start rolling out. And so almost ready with the Chrome extension that we created. And yeah, I don't know. But thanks for joining me, Chris. It was fun to like at least not go crazy by myself trying to figure out what's going on. And I hope we are able to like do something else in the future.
Oh yeah, this was a lot of fun. Like you said in the beginning, it sort of reminds me of working on an old college project again, you know?
Yeah. All right. Well, let's end this thing. Let me pull up all my other things here. Should we? Let's turn on the outro music, and we'll tell everybody goodbye. TTFN, ta-ta for now, and all of that. All right, and we're going to rock on out. So see everyone next week. Bye-bye.
See ya.